guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 26 of NaNoWriMo. Gotta check my computer for how many words I've written. My computer's right here. I have already written over 700 words today and I got my 38,000th word, which is I. So that happened. But by the time this video is posted, I'll have written even more words and I will be enjoying the fruits of my labor. If you're like, what labors, then I would also like to welcome you to episode 2 of Cooking with Classics. Where is my classics? Where's my classic? This time we're talking The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I did look up how to pronounce this and I know I'm still butchering it, so that's great. But I'm not just talking about a general review of this book, which I had never read before this November. In fact, it's the only book I've managed to read so far this November. But also I want to discuss why so many children's novels are considered classics, life lessons learned and covered while reading this book, and how that also relates to what we consider to be a classic novel. And third, what Antoine taught me about writing and stylistic choices, all while baking macaroons. Macarons? Macaroons, French macaroons. I'm really leaning into the French theme here. And also ideally I'm going to decorate these macaroons into the style of Rosanna Pansino's cookbook Nerdy Nummies. Moon phase macaroons. Macarons? Macaroons, I don't know. This is what we will be doing. And they should look like this when they're done. I decided to go with these because again, I'm just really leaning into the theme here, but our little prince is from a different planet, moon, space. You get what I'm going for. One disclaimer that I would like to say is that I have made macaroons all of 2 times before this. One time it turned out really well and another time it did not. I am also not so great at decorating because I have the hand coordination of like a small child. So this is gonna be fun. Let's get started. I have all of my ingredients out and ready. I have my book. It is time to get cooking with classics. 2 bowls. Okay, so first thing first, you're supposed to like sift some stuff, but I don't have a sifter, so I just got a strainer. Already off to a good start. You guys know me. Now for the very basic version of this novel, the little prince is a boy who lives alone on his planet, which he decides to leave to explore the universe. He meets several very interesting grown-ups before ultimately landing on Earth, where he meets our narrator, and the story continues with the two together. This is the slowest progress I've ever made on anything, and I'm trying to write a novel this month. While I'm doing this, I do want to put some respect on Antoine's name because he was an extremely accomplished pilot, and his unfortunate accident in the middle of the desert is thought to have inspired a large chunk of the novel where the narrator meets the little prince. My favorite thing about that is how relatable I find that to be with the writing experience. Like a million other people could experience that. Well, not a million other people. How many of us can really fly? But so many of us could experience one thing and we'd all have a different interpretation. We could all come up with different story ideas from that one event. Or also it's just so relatable that like portions of our own experience and our own life can be, you know, story fodder. Oh, I'm almost done. So close. Could I get in the shot? I also really love this, especially as someone whose project, this NaNoWriMo, actually came from something that I experienced myself. Like I got stuck on that ride at Disney World and that ended up inspiring this totally separate story. And the event itself is completely changed in my novel. But it's so funny how sitting on that ride, I immediately was like, ooh, that's a story idea. That kind of thing. I just think that's so cool, and so I love when I hear that like authors that are already published or who have written classic novels took part of their own life as inspiration and created something totally different. All right, this is now successfully sifted and the almond meal and the powdered sugar have been mixed together into a powder that you can't really tell the difference. Also, to put some more respect on Antoine's name in this book, The Little Prince is the most translated novel from the French language of all time. And Antoine also drew all of the images that you see throughout the novel, which is so cool the way he mirrored that with the narrator drawing the images for The Little Prince. Like, there are so many things to love about this novel. He just took such a cool concept and then executed it to perfection. I laughed multiple times. I also cried multiple times. Like this novel really felt like it had everything, and I do think you should Google more about Antoine's life because it is exceptionally sad, but it's also very fascinating. So I'll leave the Wikipedia link down below. And now I gotta move on to some wet ingredients. Those look like soft peaks, right? Yeah. So here's the thing, to make it look like the moon, I'm going to be using black food coloring and then I'm piping the moon on. It says use more than you think you need because macaroons like cook out the color. I'm exceptionally nervous about how these are gonna end up looking. It already got on my fingers. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop. Oh, it looks green. We're gonna need a lot more. Whoops. I have a very real fear of like over mixing it because I know that macaroons are very like delicate and specific about things. So I think I'm gonna stop now. It definitely looks more green than black, but like, it's fine. We'll see how it goes. I've never been less sure if something's gonna turn out well in my entire life because look at this. Here's the thing, it doesn't taste bad, but also like, ugh, I have to pipe it onto that. The method I use is called cutting little hole in the bag and pushing it out. So I'm supposed to let these sit for an hour. I'm so apprehensive of how this is gonna go. I do wanna say that I love the structure of this novel. Even though the true like plot story is in the Little Prince's adventures, the like heart of it is in the relationship built between the narrator and the Little Prince. And the timeline in which the reader reads through their relationship and at the pace in which the Little Prince decides to reveal his experiences to the narrator. Which I think really goes into Antoine's personal choice to write it in this kind of structure and the ultimate effect of telling the story from a grown up to children, or honestly more aptly, it's for the children and all of us who feel like we've lost that part of ourselves. It does add an extra layer of dimension to the story, and I think that's what makes it a classic. He also references this in his 2 section at the beginning of the novel. So he has 2 Leon Worth and he kind of talks about him and then ends up doing when he was a little boy. He also does it again on page 17. I made a note. He literally makes the joke that he should have started the story at the action point instead of giving the backstory to the narrator, but ooh, it just brings it full circle. It's just those little things that add like a layer to the novel and make it so much more compelling, I think. Okay, we gotta wait an hour. I'm gonna get some writing in. Let's go. Go ahead and set the timer to 60 minutes. All right. Truthfully, what I loved most about this book and what I think also makes it a classic, maybe that's the thing, maybe multiple things all combined into one are what makes a book a classic. But anyways, I absolutely love the life lessons and general truths that are sprinkled throughout the book and covered with such grace. I think the earliest and what is even hinted at in the foreword to his friend is that as we grow into grown-ups, the element of like creativity or fresh eyes or like open-mindedness is kind of drilled out of us as we age. The narrator struggles with this even himself throughout the novel, and his only being able to draw boa constrictors from the outside and boa constrictors from the inside, every time that was referenced, it cracked me up. Boa constrictor from the inside. His word choice with it every time is just perfection. Like, I'm hoping my macaroons are gonna be. And each of the people the Little Prince meets on their planets have their own smaller life lessons that feed into this overall lesson of what's important often being lost. Which hits home with me for how I was personally feeling in yesterday's Nano vlog and how difficult priorities are. There are several other lessons in this novel, so many that made me like legitimately laugh out loud, especially the one, where is it? In chapter 23 about saving time. It is so short. This little section to this little section. Some more bad words. This is how I take notes, but oh my gosh, it was so funny. I missed the timer, but it is off. Oh yes. Preheat to only 300. Is that what it said? Yes, okay. And start. I think for me the biggest point of interest in the Little Prince's interactions, besides of course with the narrator, were with the fox, the snake, and the rose. There's this whole idea about taming. Let me see if I can find it. Page 83. The fox gazed at the Little Prince for a long time. "Please tame me," he said. "I want to very much," the Little Prince replied, "but I have not much time. I have friends to discover and a great many things to understand." "One only understands the things that one tames," said the fox. Throughout the chapter and the rest of the novel, it goes on to explain more about this idea of taming and how basically you grow so close to someone that even after the loss of that person, you're kind of forever seeing the world in a new lens from your experiences with that person and your love for that person, which is something that every grown-up knows. Am I gonna cry again? No, it's fine. I'm fine. And there's a quote on page 99 that goes, "But I was not reassured. I remembered the fox. One runs the risk of weeping a little if one lets..." This part just gets me. It's "one runs the risk of weeping a little if one lets himself be tamed." Truer words. ready, start. All right, I cleaned out the bowl that we used for our dry ingredients earlier, and I'm gonna make the filling. Room temperature butter, 4 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla extract, and then 6 tablespoons powdered sugar. This is also the stage you're supposed to mix in food coloring. And now what I'm attempting to do is make it kind of like yellow like the moon. And Rosanna in her cookbook says that she did like a mix of golden yellow, but I only have a yellow and orange. So we're going to do 1 drop of orange to 2 drops of yellow, and we're just gonna see what happens. Yikes. 1 drop, 2 drop, there we go. The color may be more harvest moony, but the taste is so good. It's my favorite part of baking. You got the feet. They have feet. Oh no. The texture is definitely not right. What I discovered in this, I don't know if you can see this one, is that I don't really like royal icing, and today I learned that royal icing really doesn't like me, but that's okay. I still have some delicious macaroons to eat. But before I finish the review and get to a little bit more writing, which I've done a shocking amount today, I already have over like 1,300 words, which is amazing. It's like the best I've done in a week or something like that. I do want to say that I did learn 2 new words this time. That's always such a fun part for me. I said that last time about how as a kid I just loved looking through the dictionary, but this time it happened on the same exact page. You see that? New words. Tippler and lugubrious. But when looking these up in Google now, we have a great advantage over when we were having to look them up and flipping through the dictionary. And that's because now you can see the use of the word over time, and as like a bit of a word nerd, as someone who loves words like writers tend to do, it's just so fascinating. So ooh, anyways. Ultimately, you guys, I just freaking loved this book, and it is so short, like so short. You could read it in a morning. You might not even have to change positions on the couch. So as for me, I can tell that this guy is going to be like a reread. I might actually make it something that I reread each year. It really just touched me. I loved it so much. Royal icing mess. The filling is so good. Even the royal icing doesn't ruin this for me. I did not put the royal icing on any of the others because I was like, screw that. And as always, the great thing about books and reading is that it inspires me to write. So that's what I'm about to get back to. Gotta get those words in. My goal is actually to hit 40,000 words today. And I think I can do it because I'm already past 38,000. Like, I got this. And now I have motivation in the form of macaroons. Woohoo! $1,999. Oh, I'm so close. And then I'm almost at 40,000. Ah, you guys, I did it. I did it. I'm done. Well, I'm not done. I got to 40,000 words, which is where I'm calling it for the evening. Ooh, let me find out what my word is. Food. It's food. Food. That was my 40,000th word. I still have my 39,000th to go find. How exciting. Okay. It was B, which is less exciting. The interesting thing for me is that up until my 31,000th word, I didn't have any duplicates. At 31,000, the duplicate is the duplicate is the, and then 38,000th, I had I, and then for my 39,000th word, I got B, which I also already had. So this is gonna make for an interesting combination. I feel like this is the first time in a while that I've hit a milestone word. And I don't know if it's because this past week was really slow for me or what, but I'm very excited that I hit the 40,000. I know I might not seem like it, I'm just a little bit tired, but I'm really pumped that I hit 40,000 because I feel like that still means that at least the 50K is doable for this NaNoWriMo. I've all but given up on the idea of 75K happening and finishing the story, but 50K, I can still hit 50K. I can still do that before NaNoWriMo is done. And if that's the case, the 40K feels like I'm really getting closer. I don't feel like it's so far away because I was kind of getting down about the 75K, but no. 40K, food. Yes. And that's what I did a lot of today, was just made food. So overall, feeling pretty good. Please comment down below and let me know what the last milestone word was that you got excited about, or have you been having a celebration for every milestone word? I'd absolutely love to hear about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with another video. Bye! And they're going to look like, where is it? What's the point of these sticky notes if I can't get to it?